Hey friends, so today we're going to talk about looking and trying to identify different lines and shapes that you see in something that you might want to draw. So I have a book here called Art for Kids Drawing by Catherine Temple. It's a really good book that I like a lot. And on this page, she talks about how you can use simple shapes to draw pretty much anything. Simple shapes and lines. So different size ellipses and straight lines make a cup. Different size squares, rectangles, and lines make a fireplace, and so on. So, but in order to use this information, we need to be able to identify different kinds of lines and shapes that we see. So I'm going to set this aside, and I want to talk to you about another book. This is called Drawing for Older Children and Teens. It's by Mona Brooks, and in this book, she talks about the 5 basic elements of shape. So instead of having to, let's say if you want to make an analogy like, okay, I'm going to try to learn a new language, you would have tons of words to learn. But if you're trying to learn the language of art, there's really only 5 shapes and lines that you need to learn, and then everything else can be made out of variations or combinations of these lines and shapes. So let's take a look at these. These are the circle and dot family. And this is the line family. So we're going to start with the line family. So the first kind of line in the line family is a straight line. So you can have thin straight lines. You can have thick straight lines. I mean, if you think about it, this could, I know it looks like a rectangle, but it also looks like a thick straight line. So it could be like a doorway or a book. There are diagonal straight lines, horizontal straight lines, and vertical straight lines. So there can be any huge variety of straight lines. So that's one element. So the next element are the curvy lines. So here are the curvy line family. So curvy lines start as soon as a straight line bends, it becomes a curvy line. And lines can curve in an infinite variety of ways. So as long as they don't close to make a circle, we'll talk about that up there. But again, you might have to separate each curve because they tend to be strung together. For example, the letter S is 2 curves that are together. So one of the things you have to be able to look for is to see how many curves are making up one curvy line. It could be a set of curves, and you have to train your eye to be able to take that apart. Okay, another kind of line would be the angle lines, the angle line family. So these can be actually thought of as 2 straight lines joined together. Angle lines can be very wide, like these ones, or they can be very narrow, like these ones. You can make triangles, rectangles, and squares when you join angled lines. Okay, so now let's go up to the dot and circle family. So the dots are any shape that's roundish and filled with color or texture. They don't have any straight or pointy edges. They can be round or wobbly as long as they're filled in. And, you know, most people limit the idea of a dot to something that's small, like a little pinprick or a pencil point. But a dot can be a button, a kidney bean, a pear, or a moon. So it doesn't matter the size, but it needs to be enclosed and it's filled with color or texture. Now, the circle family is exactly like the dot family, except that it's empty. So the circle doesn't have any color in the middle or any texture. A circle would be like a hula hoop or the rim of a bowl or, you know, a bracelet that's laying on the table. So the only difference between these two is the dot family is filled in with color and texture, and the circle family is not. Now, once you understand that everything that you look at is made up of these 5 elements, you can analyze and draw pretty much anything. You just have to train your brain to look for these 5 different shapes. So you are going to practice that by doing a clone drawing. All right, so have fun with this, and I will talk to you soon.